Welcome, Guardian. The mind is a tool that directs the flow of energy, the flow of life. And so whenever you direct your attention onto something that is negative, it drains your energy. And this great demonic force that I call the monster mind spends its whole existence trying to manipulate and deceive you into sending your attention down all the wrong places. This is the most tricky and cunning force in our entire life. Its only purpose is to keep us in illusion, in ignorance, in unconsciousness. Because when we are living in darkness, we are in its territory. We live in its world where it reigns supreme. Millions and millions of people are a slave to this dark force. Not the system or the matrix or the evil elites. These things are only the surface level of reality, but by the monster in their own minds. The light is within you. Freedom is already yours. This is why the monster mind has to do everything in its power to distract you from this truth. In my journey going to war with the monster mind, I became aware of the games that it plays. I dove headfirst into the darkness and explored its territory. So I became very familiar with the monster mind, and eventually I came to destroy it only after understanding its weakness. But most people don't even realize that they are a slave. Because they are living in unconsciousness, they are unaware of all the ways they feed this beast on a daily basis. So let me help shed some light on the secrets of the monster mind. The monster mind is like a parasite that feeds off of our life force. It has no life of its own, but it has to follow a specific set of universal rules. It's not just allowed to do anything it wants. The main rule is that it requires your permission to feed off of you. It cannot impinge on your natural free will. Think about a vampire that needs you to welcome it into your home in order for it to enter. And once the vampire is in, it begins feeding off your life force. What the monster mind then does is that it programs you to have Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome is like when a hostage begins falling in love with their captor. Like in an abusive relationship where a woman might justify all the reasons why she should stay with her abuser. It causes you to fight for the exact thing that is killing you. It justifies all the reasons why you should keep it alive. All while never even assuming for one moment that you are under its spell. It enters into the wounds of your trauma. It senses where you are the most vulnerable, and it breaks you at your weakest point. It is that force that tempts you into doing the things that you know are wrong, but you simply can't stop doing. Do not beat yourself up over these things, because it is not you that sins, but it is the sin living in you that possesses you and takes over control. The problem, however, is that we are the ones that refuse to let go of the things that are killing us. We keep the sin alive. There is a part of ourselves that doesn't want to let go. And so as long as we keep this shred of poison within us, the monster mind can always feed and regain its power over us. Whenever it feeds for long enough, what you'll find is that you can't help but engage in self-destructive behavior. It possesses you, it takes control, and you find yourself helpless. This is because it feeds and drains you of your energy, and you lose power. And so it takes your power and gains control over you. Eventually you become too weak to do anything and are forced to surrender to its power. And then you engage in some self-destructive behavior that you soon regret. After it has done its duty, destroying your life piece by piece, it must take time to recover. Remember, it doesn't have any energy of its own, so when it possesses and controls you, it uses and loses some of its power. And so it returns to its slumber and recharges, where you will find some temporary relief from its influence. The only way that it can return back to life is if there is still the seed of sin within you. So long as you refuse to let go of the things that are killing you, it will return again and again. But there is great news, and that is, it is actually quite easy to let go of the things that are killing us. Things are only heavy when we pick them up. It doesn't take any effort to let go, but it takes a lot of effort to hold on. The moment you realize your hand is on a hot stove, you immediately take it away. But because we're often living in unconsciousness, we can hold our hand and allow ourselves to remain in pain and suffering because we lack awareness of what is actually going on. The problem and the root that tethers you to the monster mind is simple. It feeds off of your identity. Who you believe you are, your personal life circumstances, the monster mind will always attack you personally. And this is how you get invested. When you are interested in what the mind has to say, you buy the story that it is selling you. Like a sleazy salesman, it cannot sell you anything that you are not willing to buy. And because it knows our greatest pain points, it tricks us and manipulates us into giving in. But you have a secret power that is the monster mind's greatest weakness. And this is the power of non-attachment. You see, you have a light that is the essence of your very being, and its name is I am, or consciousness. And consciousness manifests as your awareness. It is the silent observer. It is transcendent. It is beyond all experience. And the monster mind has no power or influence over it. So if you could imagine, consciousness, that is awareness, is here. The mind is in the middle, and the body and your life circumstances are over here. The mind has no power over consciousness, so it has to manipulate you into attaching your identity to the mind. Once you have attached your identity to the mind, now all the negativity of your thoughts and your life circumstances become attached to you, and they affect you, and they rub their negativity all over you. And that is why we experience suffering. But when you remain as awareness, as consciousness, you create a safe space between your mind and between all of your experiences. Because consciousness is the light, it is in an environment that is toxic to the monster mind, because the monster mind rules in darkness. So rather than trying to fight the darkness or go to war with yourself and your mind, there is one simple solution, and that is turn toward the light. This is all you have to do to overcome the monster mind. Remember, you are already free. You are already in the transcendent state. But the monster mind has, through a lifetime of conditioning, gotten you to believe in all of these different identities. And that is how it controls and manipulates you and steals your energy. You see, the way I destroyed the monster mind is simple. I used a principle taught by Jesus called love your enemies. This monstrous force that is responsible for all evil and suffering in the world, I chose to love within myself. Because I realized at some point that the darkness and the light are both equally important for the wholeness of all things. That without a villain, there is no need for a hero, and without a hero, there is no story to be told. This darkness is not separate from you, but it is a part of you. All the parts of yourself that you have rejected in this life, you have cast into the darkness and have created this monster mind. The monster mind is your own child. It is your own horrifying creation. And the monster mind at large is the creation of our own collective consciousness. Imagine if you were cast out into the darkness because you were ugly. You were rejected because you were not lovable. would you not plan your revenge? Would you not also be seething with deep hatred and seek to destroy? You see, consciousness that is the God essence within you radiates unconditional love and light. The sun shines upon the good and the evil. It is only when we fall into the illusion of separation do we get cut off from this life and fall into suffering and darkness. The poison is in the darkness, and so the cure is the light. That which seeks to destroy us is suffering and hurt, and so the antidote is love. The monster mind is crying to be heard, and it is the rejection and the hatred of our own darkness that causes it to seek revenge upon us. That which is loved the least is often in need of love the most. So the pathway forward is in reconnecting to this God essence that can only be experienced in the present moment. The more we love ourselves unconditionally, the easier it is to surrender to the present moment. Because we can accept reality as it is, we can accept ourselves and not fall into resistance. The greater we are attached to our mind identity, the further we are separated from the present moment through the mind's resistance. The key is to remain in the present moment and to focus on being as awareness. Here we can resonate in our true state of being as consciousness. The more we connect to this God essence within us, the more love, peace, and joy naturally springs forth within. And you cannot be suffering and also be in joy at the same time. Whenever we get triggered emotionally or go to engage in some kind of self-destructive behavior, just bring awareness with you. This is about remembering. Do your best to watch yourself from a third-person perspective and remain non-attached to the situation. If we are engaging in some kind of bad habit or addiction and we beat ourselves up over it, or we're in so much resistance, or like, no, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, and we have so much fear and shame and guilt over it, we remain in darkness. So even if you continue doing the bad habits, remain as awareness. Love yourself unconditionally. This is how you progress. This is how you evolve. When we remain non-attached, we don't feed the monster mind with our negative emotional reactions. When we remain aware, we shine our light on whatever it is we are experiencing, and we illuminate the darkness. We go from darkness unto light, unconsciousness into awareness. Love yourself fully, even when you make mistakes. Do not feed the monster mind further with your fear, your shame, your guilt, and any other negative emotion. The answer, as funny as it sounds, really is love and light. Much peace and many blessings to you on your journey. Good luck.